Language in the brain. Language is localized in the left hemisphere. The motor theory of lateralization exposed that this hemisphere controls five movements, like in we have speech. We can use symbols to construct an alphabet which allow us to express any new or old idea. There are two regions that are critical for language: Broca's area and Wernicke's area. In the Broca's area, is the first of these and is responsible for the motor function that allows us to formulate syllables with our mouth. Since damage to this area results in impairment of this function without affecting the ability to understand language. And the second area is one that is responsible for understand the language, since damage to this region doesn't impair the ability to vocalize, but results in completely nonsense being spoken. These two regions, together with the basal nuclei, form a language implementation system that analyze words that are heard and produce on our speech in response. A surrounding set of cortical areas links this system without other regions of the cortex that are responsible for conceptualization of ideas, essentially enabling us to communicate of the opposite hemisphere that are also relevant because these allow us to interpret the non-verbal components of language. For example, this could be body language, gesture, and any kind of tone of quality. And an example is when brain works during a conversation. First, when we listen to someone talking, their voice is converted into signals that are sent to primary auditory cortex. Then it is conducted to Wernicke's area where we can imagine that the words are actually comprehended. Then this information is sent to accurate fasciculus in Broca's area and then to the primary motor cortex to generate response. This area controls the muscles in mouth. Something similar occurs when we read aloud. Visual info is sent to the primary visual cortex, then transmitted to the angular gyrus that translate reading words into auditory signals, and then it is sent to Wernicke's area for comprehension, and then this follow the process that I explained before, and you can see this in the second picture.
Hi teacher, my name is Jackie Delgado Tenorio and today I'm talking about cognitive learning process. Its process involves the mental activities associated with acquiring, processing, and storing knowledge. Understand this process helps improve teaching strategies and engage learning environment. Have key components: attention, the ability to focus on a specific stimulus or information; memory, the process involving encoding, storing, and retrieving information; problem solving, the method and strategies used to find solution to the complex issues of meta condition; awareness and understanding of one out through process. Stage of cognitive learning. Acquisition, learning new information or skills; consolidation, integrate new information with existing knowledge; and retrieval, accessing and use information when needed. These have three important theories and models. Piaget described how children construct a mental model of the world. Vygotsky's social theory emphasized the role of the social interaction in cognitive development. Information process models compare the mind to a computer, focusing on how information is processed. Application in education is are many, but three important: active learning techniques, use of cognitive strategies and lesson plans, and important feedback and assignment. Thank you, teacher.
Good morning, my name is Rocio Pujos and I'm going to talk about of the role of age. Learning English as a second language is influenced by various factors. and age is one of the most relevant. Both children and adults can learn English effectively. Children and young people. During the first years of life, children experience rapid cognitive development and define their personality and abilities. Children have greater brain plasticity and can assimilate language more naturally. Adults. Adults have different motivation for learning English, have more mature cognitive skills, and can reflect on their progress and areas for improvement. Motivation and dedication are key factors to achieve positive results in the short and long term. So, no matter your age, it is always a good time to learn English. Thank you.
The critical period hypothesis, known by its acronym CPH, is a theory in linguistics and cognitive science that suggests that there is a specific period of time in human development during which language acquisition occurs most easily and effectively. According to this hypothesis, the ability to acquire language naturally and fully decreases after this critical period, which generally ends around puberty. The critical period is generally considered to last from infancy to around puberty, although the exact age limits may vary. We can see the importance of early language acquisition in the case of Jenny, a child who was isolated and deprived of exposure to language until she was found at the age of 13. Despite efforts to teach her language after her discovery, she never mastered the language for communication.
Other psychological factors in second language acquisition is sex differences. Sex can affect how people learn a second language. Research shows that men and women might learn languages in different ways. For example, men. Men's brains might be more specialized for language in one hemisphere of the brain. Men might be better at learning grammar rules and structure. Women. Women often excel in verbal fluency tasks like finding words that start with a certain letter. Women might be better at memorizing words and complex language forms. Some studies also suggest that these differences might be influenced by social factors like gender roles and expectation in different cultures. Motivation. Motivation is another crucial factor in learning a second language. It explains why some people learn language faster and more effectively than others. There are two main types of motivation. Intrinsic motivation. This type of motivation comes from within the learner. Learners are motivated because they find learning enjoyable or interesting. For example, someone might learn a language because they love the culture or enjoy the challenge. Extrinsic motivation. This type of motivation comes from external rewards. Learners are motivated by practical benefits such as getting a job or passing an exam. For example, someone might learn a language to improve their career or their career opportunities. Both intrinsic and extrinsic motivations are important, but research suggests that intrinsic motivation often leads to more effective and enjoyable learning.